You are bigger than my enemy. Consume them with fire. Yeah. Oh, Yahweh. You are bigger than my situation. You are bigger than my enemy. Show up for me. Oh, Yahweh. You are bigger than my situation. You are bigger than my enemy. Consume them by fire. Oh, Yahweh. You are bigger than my situation. You are bigger than my enemy. Show up for me. Oh, hallelujah. Yeah, hallelujah. Yeah, hallelujah. Show up for me. Hallelujah. Yahweh, you are bigger than my situation. Show up for me, Baba. Yahweh, Yahweh, bigger than my enemy. Show up for me. Yahweh, Yahweh, you are bigger than my situation. Show up for me, Baba. Yahweh, Yahweh, bigger than my enemy. Show up for me, yeah. Show up for me, Lord. Yeah. Show up for me. Destroy my enemies. Destroy every power. In Jesus' name. Destroy every altar. Oh, Father. Even in all of the time. Show up for me, Lord. Even in the presence. Show up for me. Destroy my destroyer. Yeah, Jesus. Destroy every evil power. Yahweh, Yahweh, you are bigger than my situation. Show up for me, Baba. Yahweh, Yahweh, bigger than my enemy. Show up for me. Yahweh, Yahweh, you are bigger than my situation. Show up for me, Baba. Yahweh, Yahweh, bigger than my enemy. Show up for me. Give me power, Jesus, Jesus, under my enemy. Every evil altar be destroyed in the name of Jesus. Hey, anti-many battle, wherever you are, consume them by fire, bring them to judgment. Hey, Baba, oh Baba, hey Baba, destroy my enemy. Hey Baba, hey Baba, oh Baba, destroy my enemy. All right, it's a good evening. This is a beautiful Saturday evening from the East Coast. It's 8:29 Eastern Standard Time. This is the Crossfire section. As you note, we did announce Crossfire going to be coming just in that time. That late took place, so it's going to put us back. Notwithstanding, we are here this evening. Hopefully, the team of analysts and contributors of the Liberia Public Radio going to be here. So we're going to look at the fallout this evening on one of the biggest network, the Spawn TV. We're going to be the recovery process. We're going to look at the pros and cons. And of course, you are our valuable listeners. Your contributions by participating in the process will also be welcome. I'm Afonso and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Yeah, this is by time Minister K Praise. It's a gospel, Liberian gospel artist. Is based in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. And this one, they call it Show of Main, the Minister K Praise. He making a contribution here, right here on the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe this beautiful Saturday evening. So whatever you are, we say welcome to this evening talking point. And as usual, your participation is highly requested and it's allowed as long. But remember, whatever say on this network is you will be here responsible of your comments, your statements, and we will go forward if need be to validate and to make sure what you're saying is also right. Thank you so much, Mr. Shart, for joining us, whatever you are. Good evening and welcome. Just do us a favor to share the video, and will be right on point, right here to have an insight on some of the things that happens in our neighborhood, in our communities, and sort of network. As I mean, it's normal. Usually, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and all of that, they pick up talking points on other network and see how they can also make it part of the point. And so, as you may note, day before yesterday, there was a developing news by one of the contributors, analysts. I'm not sure what they are called, hosts, but they are, I believe they are contributors, with alleged allegations against the sitting senator of Mosororo County. And that came out today in their program again, and it happens to spill out. These and many more are going to be our conversation here as usual, and we're going to have a talking point. Let's take a quick commercial break, commercial commitment here, and I will be right back. I'm Afonso Z and so of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Stay tuned. I'm going to be right back.
This is Lpr-Tv with Afonso Z and Soul, live from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. In today's discussions, we will highlight hardcore issues from the motherland, Republic of Liberia, and issues affecting our community. Asking tough questions is vital to me to have my listeners and viewers with the sole purpose of demanding answers that are authentic and meant to be head-scratching situation.
To add pageantry to the conversation. Senior analysts and contributors of the Liberia Public Radio are here to dissect the conversation. From Baltimore, senior analyst, Professor Asisi Labozawa, CEO, Real Academics and Eden's Polytechnics Academics in Liberia, senior contributor, Edmonds George, is in Atlanta, Georgia, a critical thinker and critic of the GOL, and opposition, Lpr-Tv Foreign Affairs Analyst, Leo Johnson, Executive Director, Empowerment Square, based in Canada, and President, Liberian Community in Canada. And on the radar is Lpr-Tv, liberal progressive, and conversations with some Saint Waku Brown, in studio, in Saxtown, Sacramento, California, is also on the radar.
And of course, the Dwayne,
former state broadcaster at EODC and EOW,
and former
presidential
Republic of Liberia, James Gumby is based in the Garden City of New Jersey. I am your host and anchor to Francois of the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. Come, let's join the talking point, fair balance and objectives in keeping news proportional. Be my guest.
Okay, thus you have it right there. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much. Okay, the MD just alerted me here. Hopefully, we're going to work on that. This is the Saturday editions of Crossfire. We're going to dissect and go straight into what has been unfolding on our sister network and some of the news. The politics in Liberia is massively divided, it's polarized, and so depending on who you talk to, folks that you talk to, they have their own interpretation as they are thinking what it should be like or how it should be. The interpretations is being self interpretations as to how they feel and how they want it to be. But I want to be having hopefully we're going to be having our guests here today to tomorrow. But I'm going to do us a favor for those of you that follow these platforms. Sometimes you want to make a contribution, but you just do not have the time. Not that these networks want to deny you, but because of your locations, your position. Sometimes you don't, even though you tweet. But fair to mention, like then, also, we do not sometimes have the time to go through all of your tweets. Not that your comments are not important. Of course, they are important because of your precious time. You also share with us. That also entices or give us encouragement to do what we're doing. Studio manager, now please monitor if our audio. And for those that are following us, if our audio is doing good, let us know. Just give me a thumbs up. I will get a sense. Sometimes we see this with all of the setup. With the hope that everything is perfect, everything is okay. It might sound okay, it might look okay to me, but it is not on your end. And I don't think you're going to profit me if I'm not audible where her, then it's a waste of your precious time, and I will be doing you the service. So, Ambassador Winston, Bentu, Toboika, Francis, Ibrahim, Francis, Fred. Good evening, to welcome. Just give me a thumbs up. Just tell me the audio is okay. Social manager not quite well. If you are monitoring, also just shoot me a message to make sure it's okay, and we will get the ball rolling. And like I said, I'm going to be putting the number out here. So those of you who watch Spawn TV, a sister network, one of the biggest platform here, no question about that to mention, because most of the big dogs are there. And which is good because it's at their own volitions, it's at their own setting. They choose to go to. Not that these other networks do not invite these government officials or the opposition, but people feel comfortable where they think they can go and they can have a free passage. It is natural, it is normal here. There are certain government officials, be it from the Democrat or Republican, very suddenly you're going to see these people going on the Fox News channel or CNN. And if they are to go on the Fox News channel, there are certain individuals. They're going to sit to have interviewed. One of the favorite is Chris Wallace because he's projected to be a balanced guy. You will never see it. Republican top guru going to Richard Maddow and all of that. You will never see Nancy Pelosi sitting down with Sean Hannity on the Fox News. So it is obvious. So it's no different from what is unfolding in Liberia because of the polarizations of politics in Liberia. Politicians, both on the opposition, the government side, they become selective. They become more comfortable where to go because they're going to be speaking to a demographic or the few that they will be maybe perhaps protected or walk through with certain comments or ridiculous statements. Politicians are noted of doing that. But unfortunately, even here on our network, be a commentator or analyst, or even an ordinary caller, here, when you call in to make a point, which of course we highly appreciate, but we also caution you that your call, your comments, your statements, while it is true, it is within your purview, but we also hold you responsible because what happens if you use a network to say something and the facilitator or the angle of that program did not in any way go in chance to do a follower, then that's a serious problem. That is a free pass. Okay, one of our analysts here, Mr. Leo Napoleon Johnson, is our foreign affairs analyst, is based in neighboring Canada, is here. It's good to be here. We're going to decide the drama and the fallout in the last 2 days with Spoon Network. Kev, one of the contributors, and the sitting senator of Montserrat County. We want to play some of these soundbite and we're going to decide and put them on the radar and put it into context in our own understanding. But we'll also give you the opportunity as well to speak to that. And this is what we should do. We feel all politicians must be held accountable, be it the government or the opposition. And even we as a journalist or angle, we must be held responsible of our own tough statements and comments. Let me bring in Mr. Johnson standing by the way. He is the CEO and founder of Empowerment Square based in Canada. Is also president of the Liberian community, a young guy involved in multitudes of roles in a bid to stabilize and get our country going. I'm not sure whether we are reached to that point. Mr. Johnson, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
Yeah. Guess what? This ugly guy hit me, and so it really put me across the world. But I'm okay here. Okay, so this is Crossfire, so we're going to be hitting one another here. If I'm moving on the high speed, accelerating, going above the speed limit, if you think you can get me a ticket from Canada and I can pay it to the Canadian government, you are at liberty to do that. Let's see what happened here. So first of all here, did you listen to what unfolded yesterday and today on the sister network, Spoon TV?
Yes, I follow a little bit yesterday with Minister McGill.
Minister McGill. Okay, this is what we're going to do. In the interest of fairness and some of our fellow married, Ibrahim, welcome. I'm going to go back, courtesy of Spoon Network, to bring in some of that soundbite and the one that unfolded today. And potentially we're going to have a conversation here. So let's see here. Hopefully this thing will do us good here. Let's see here. Let's listen to this here.
You'll be more mature. But the fact that the law is accusing me of a horse that I bought or I entered in 4 years ago and tried to accuse me of corruption only suggests that he really doesn't have an issue. Some people ask the law when he declared his asset, he declared that he had $3.50. He worked for 9 months. According to him, he was making $5,000. By the end of the 9 months, he had $96,000 in his account plus $20,000, $24,000 US dollars. That's over 100 and something thousand. Calculate. I don't know where he got the money from. But there's a real issue that I don't want to go to, and Delon knows. And Delon does not want me to expose him because I'm the Minister of State, and I know telephone calls that I get from these individuals. And so I don't want to go into Delon's closet. Because if I go into Delon's closet, Delon will be disgraced. But the good news is, if Delon is only accusing me of a horse, and he claimed that because I said I will get a loan from one bank, please suggest of supposedly that no other bank will give me a loan, there's something wrong with him.
Mr. McGill, I'm going to interrupt you. You don't want to go in there, but I'm going to go in there. Senator Delon, pressure the government of Liberia, the administration, for $2 million before and he would take part to sign for the new banknotes. For he and his Liberty cronies.
Let me get your information on the banknote issue. Delon had made an argument that he wanted a report for the $4 billion before he would sign the agreement. He never had any disposition.
Okay, we're not going to go into all of this here. We got the nuclear where this whole bombshell came from when the analyst of Spoon Network, Keith Hassan, who is a strong sedition, by the way, his identity is established. So the sort of red meat for me is not a strange thing when it comes back. He intercepted the Minister of Presidential Affairs. He said, if you can say A, I will say A. If you can do the dirty work, I will do the dirty work. I can be the sacrificial lamb. You don't want to say A. However, let's be fair to mention here, the Minister of State did mention something very critical. And what I thought within myself, the anger, the host who oppressed the minister, is no excuse to say, I'm a minister of state. He said, crystal clear, people call overnight. We know the people that we talk to. Dylan knows, I know when he tries it, I will expose him. He did not do that. That was a free pass in itself. Put it into context for me. See what happens. That was day before yesterday, and what come to into today's event, where the ball start dropping.
Yeah. First of all, I was a bit surprised that nobody was willing to muster the courage to really follow in on that. Because in my opinion, if there's anything called breaking news, that should have been breaking news, and that should have been an opportunity with the minister right there. To apparently, especially someone who is a very harsh critic of the government, Senator DeLon, very, very, serious critic of the government. He doesn't hold back his punches against the government. And you have evidence, the way he said it, it was like some kind of purported corruption or something, the way it sounded to me, something that was improper, but you decided to hold it. I'm trying to make sense of the logic why with an official of the government want to protect Senator DeLon, especially after making the remark to begin with that DeLon had $3 in his account before he became senator, and 9 months later he got 300,000, or he got 45,000, however the amount was in his account. If he already
fair to mention, that was a good point he was laying out, though. Correct?
I don't necessarily agree, Mr. So, and I'll tell you why. Right? The fact that somebody worked for government does not necessarily dictate that is the person only source of getting money. If the government has any concern after DeLon declare his asset in 9 months, get all that money, they have the right to ask him. They have the right to ask him to give the source of his money. But when you're the government and you're just talking about it like that, as if you don't have the ability to say the government would like to know where Senator DeLon, their process is in place. If you think, and Senator DeLon may have gotten his money strangely, then why not just do an investigation and figure out where he got his money from?
Right, and like you said, because he's a guy who was in the throat of the government, he's opposition. So when I listen to channels, televisions as a Nigerian-based something, I like to listen to different. That's where you can really get exposure to how these politicians, how mature they are, and how they argument their point. And one of the politicians, he came from the opposition, and then he said, "You expect me to come and do your salad dressing here for you? Of course I have to demonize the government. Of course I have to put finger in the throat of the government." But what was very much interesting, Mr. Johnson, was this is something the Minister of State is within the close proximity to the President of the Republic of Liberia. He's, Liberia say, the President's right man, or the principal's deputy. Without McGee, you cannot have any conversation. And I'm only saying this to say, by virtue of his positions as a Minister of State and Chief of Staff to the President, so it means the protocol goes through his office. This was something that he said against a sitting senator, an opposition person who is critical on the government. Why did the anger of the host themselves did not go further to say, "Hey, wait a minute, Minister, this is something that you are saying. Where is this coming from? How can we validate this this information you're providing?" Instead, "I don't want to expose him." What sort of language is that?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. First of all, I think we first of all need to accept that we need to hold to him or her whom much is given, much is required. People like Minister McGill and stuff, you're not an ordinary person. I think they should be held to a much higher standard because of what they know. If anything, someone like Minister McGill knows the national security status of the state. This is somebody who have access, like you said, literally the president's right-hand man. And I would want to believe Minister McGill if he says he has XYZ. But for me, the way he said it last night, something this serious to say in he said in such a light-hearted way, like, I got the information on my phone here. If he wants me to expose him, I can expose him. But I will not go there. And then I seriously, my good friend Ben Sanvi and Stanton Witherspoon and the rest of the guys, I was shocked that they all seem to be loss of words. Instead of coming back to me and saying, Mr. McGee, hold on, let's dial this back. Are you saying to us you got evidence of Senator DeLon being involved in corruption? Let him be clear. It is clear, Minister McGee, we can never speak without proof for someone of his status. It's unacceptable for him to be speaking without having any backup, and hold him to the point and say, okay, can you prove it? Because if you're willing to come out and say it publicly, that means you're willing to prove it.
There's something that's tangible, it's not abstract, something concrete that you have on hand.
Exactly.
You are indirectly getting it out there, but you have a perfect venue there for which you're supposed to get it out.
I think it was again, I don't know why. I always struggle when ministers of the CDC government and government officials come out. They always have to find a way to muddy their message, right? Look, the opposition, those that are against you, will make their point. That's their job. They do what they do. If you're going to be taking cheap jab after spending all night trying to make the case, and you know that your government is trying their best, your government is working hard. The one thing people remember from that interview last night is Minister McGill said he has evidence on his phone that now all of the things that he said,
exactly, it kills every other
it kills
thing.
the message.
He thought the message of the government, because he was invited. That could have been a perfect venue to outline governments. And he started on a good note and said, like, we didn't say everything want to be there, even though we all know that. And he alluded to the fact that when you are in opposition, while you thought of government being, how things will work, it's not like that, because you're going to be dealing with different forces, different factors. And that also has a significant portions in your decision making. And then all of a sudden, we saw the scar descending on all of us yet all over the place here. I have something when you try our exposing. And my good friend and brother Stanton, the Ben Savvy, but I come to realize, when you are an analyst, you have to, in as much you had a political attachment, there must be some sort of room to provide neutrality, because if not, you will be seen as somebody who enhance one of the other side's message. And they did not hold Minister McGee to that standard.
I'm also even concerned that, especially those who may be representing the opposition party, because Senator DeLon is from the CPP, which is the opposition. I would have thought the opposition would not let the step of cloud hang over Senator DeLon's reputation by holding Minister McGee to the fire and say, no, Mr. McGee, you just said X, Y, Z. Can you please share the evidence now that you've said this publicly and we all have just heard it? Can you share that? But again, let's look at the discipline, right? Let's be honest. The opposition got very little to lose. I often say never fight someone who has nothing to lose, Mr. Soul. You think about it, the CDC government has everything to lose. It is the opposition that's fighting to come to power.
Why would you say that, Mr. Johnson, when you say the CDC? And I know where you're going, because they are the establishment. But let's also bear in mind, they are seeking for state power. Oh my goodness, this conversation is about to go into another ridiculous night here. The liberal progressive is here. I will try as much as possible to bring him on, to contain him. Let's see what's going to happen here. So help me God. Let's see what's happening here this evening. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, if you think about it this way, I agree that the opposition is trying to come to power, but people don't hold them to the same standard as the government. Because you are the government, people know that you have access to the resources. People know that you have access to the security apparatuses. You don't have access to power. So people are holding you to a different standard. The opposition is the opposition. And that is the reason why I think there's a greater sense of responsibility on the government to be disciplined. You came to give a message. If I were you, let the Senator DeLons and the opposition do all of this stuff. The one thing you want to remember, if people say McGill was on spoon, let them remember that McGill talk about all the street lights the president just put up. Let people say McGill talk about, oh wow, McGill said the president is about to bring in a new program that will support Liberian businesses. Those are the things you want to be remembered for.
Before I go to the liberal, it's a lack of political tolerance. A little thing gets under their skin, and they kind of try to beat the guy, to be punching back. Let's see, this guy is accelerating. He's on a high speed here. We need to neutralize him. Lack of political tolerance, correct?
Absolutely, but also I would say lack of discipline. Because discipline is when you come out with a certain mission to deliver a certain type of message, people will intentionally throw jabs at you to try and distract you from your message. It's like you are a football player on a team and the coach already gave you his tactics as to how you're supposed to go and play the game. But then you go on the field because the other defenders started fouling you. You decided to all of a sudden take out your share and fight the other defender instead of
And
focusing
maybe
on
punch in his mouth. Just I want to punch the Liberal here this evening. I'm just kidding with you. Don't get scared. That there's no way that I can stress from New England here to Sacramento. The Liberal Progressive. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. So. Thank you very much, and good evening, Ms. Johnson, as well. Thanks for nice seeing you again, and thanks for being here as well. Yeah, Mr. So, I think before coming on air, I tried to replay the Spoon entire process, but it's kind of a little bit disheartening, to be honest with you, to hear the Minister McGill, who's supposed to be. In fact, many Liberians believe that he's.
What do you mean by who's supposed to be? I don't like. Don't create. Don't put a frying pan on the stove here without us know what you are about to prepare for dinner here. My listener don't know what he's supposed to be. Will you be please crystal clear here this evening, Mr. To?
Thank you. When I said was supposed to be, I was going to say supposed to be the big boy in the room, because Minister McGill did not go to that position overnight. These are people that were in opposition, and you were expecting to have some serious political calculation when they go into public forum. You will believe that Minister McGill, who has the ears of the president, who a lot of foreigners looks up to, if they, for example, if anyone in Liberia, any Liberian wants to do business in Liberia, or any foreigner want to do business in Liberia, Minister McGill and people like that will be contacted to provide guidance. But to come on Spoon TV and naked yourself, so to speak, it's very ridiculous, and it gave us a reason to believe that this government.
Why the Spoon did not put the pants on him if he was immature?
Mr. So, as an intelligent person, someone who is respected, someone who is also highly educated, when you go to the forum, such as Spoon and what
those are your own characteristics and definitions you are trying to give somebody. Mr.
So, we all know that a man graduated with degree from the University of Liberia. We also know that this man is a minister in this sitting government. We also know that the man was confirmed by the Senate, and all of these things, his educational background, everything come to play. So we are considering, if you listen to him speak, I mean, he speak with sense, with logic, and so I believe that he's in education, not so much of degree master. Okay, hold on, Mr. So. Please, I'm trying my best here this afternoon. Try to calm things down. But you know me, the Liberal Progressive. You're not here to run me out. You're not going to sanction me. You're not going to do anything to silence this Liberal Progressive. Be careful how you ask your question. I know this is your show, but believe me, I can completely take over the show. But that's besides the point. The point that I'm trying to make here with Minister McGill, Mr. So, on a very serious note. This is the men, many Liberians outside of Liberia, whether you like the policy of this government or not. One of the things we all take for granted, and some of us take for serious business, is the many Liberians will go to sleep tonight. Millions of Liberians will go to sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow morning because of what the government and the rule of law in this country. You cannot go to Spoon and a sitting senator, even if you don't like what he's doing, to come out in public and say, if the man play with me, I will whatever term he used. That's childish, and that's beneath.
Okay, so let me hold you right there before I bring in Mr. Johnson. So I hate hypotheticals because it does not give you this sort of the details of what you want. Something to presided or was the angle of that program yesterday, and Minister Mangi came up with that sort of a statement. If you play, I will expose you. He knows what I know. We receive phone calls and all of that. How you going to handle that?
Mr. So, Spoon and the rest of all are in the business, not because dog bite a man. That's not the news I want to cover, as you always say. Man bite dog. That's the news I want to cover, because that's generate interest. And so what do you want Spoon to? Spoon sat there and heard the minister who said that if Senator Dillon is not careful, he's going to expose him. Expose him in what term? Number one. Secondly, without Spoon doesn't even have to say anything. Now the minister and his people are now got the Spoon. If you watch Spoon today, they apologize to Minister Dillon for some of the statement that was made during the program, which I find that a little bit.
So what a minute here, because this is the guy. This is the sort of appealing tone he's always going to, and that's part of his liberalism. But that's okay. I can't change him. I've tried to change this guy. He can't change. So, Leo, let me just come to you. Let me leave this guy because he's getting over he's getting on my nerves here. These are the people who allow people to walk free. Leo, are you saying you as an analyst here, you can come and just throw anything, or I can just say anything without any of us here? We have equal responsibility. We must also be held up to standard. They say, okay, yes, Spoon, because Fog not talk, and then the cop on the other side did not know water to go into it. Should we just come and say something to our audience and our folks here, and without being very precise or clear in our talking point? Is that what this guy is talking about? That Spoon could do anything?
Again, I just want to remind everyone that we're talking about Minister Nathaniel McGill. We were not talking about just one guy, one ordinary Liberian that was on the show and having a talk, right? Because again, there's context to everything. If somebody from nowhere, a regular Liberian on the show would have said the same thing that Minister McGill said, I can assure you, it wouldn't have been news. Nobody would have even picked it up to begin with. People would have said, oh, that one frustrated sedition, calling or talking or making noise. But the difference here is, again, to him or her whom much is given, much is required. People like Minister McGill, their words are almost policy, because it is assumed that when Minister McGill says something publicly is with the acquiescence of the president, because he sits that close to the president. And Minister McGill would never want to say or do something that will put the president in a difficult situation. If you ask me, being the president's right-hand man, that's one. But number two, for justice to be done to the audience, to do the audience justice, they all don't have the same ability we have, or the privilege we have to sit here where they all have to listen and we say what we have to say. So for the sake of the audience, I would have expected that at least, instead of leaving your audience now going with multiple interpretations of what Minister McGill said, so just put him on the point and say, oh, Minister McGill, that's very important information, because we know Senator Dillon has contrasted himself in the politics of Liberia by being transparent, by by being called the light, by all the, the things that he stands for, integrity and all the things that he say. What you're saying is in direct contrast to that, especially since you have the proof on your phone and your phone is with you, sir. Will you be pleased, because this is already public information now, it's no longer private. We would love to see what your evidence is, or where your allegation is coming from, that you have some evidence against Senator Dillon for doing something as it relates to him earning all the money he's earned in a period of 9 months. For me, I care less, because to assume that because Senator Dillon work for government, so all his income will always only ever be government, I think would be a very elementary assumption to make, because we all tend to have income from multiple sources. So if you're really concerned about Senator Dillon's income, then I think you should investigate about, if you have evidence that something funny happened, then how are you allowing Senator Dillon to defraud the government and get away with it when you are the minister for president?
How can we control this sort of because a lot of these things are seen as conspiracy windows, always thrown out there. This person is a killer, this person is a rogue, and we do not bring facts to the table. There is nothing concrete. All of them, they are in an abstract tone, what we feel, how we define this person, and also knowing how divisive the politics in Liberia today has become. So in this case here, the network, I know there was some sort of apology we're going to come to today's event. But who is being the service here? Because the audience, and there are two groups of people, to be really to put them into a category. You have a group from the opposition column. We have the group from the CDC column. So when Mangi, who is a right-hand person of the minister, top minister of government, said that, oh, the folks within the government establishment, We say, hey, this guy, he's no lie. He does that. It leaves the oppositions with apprehension. Why? Because somebody who knows how government works has said something and nobody have the guts to press him. Is it the same as we in the media industry or commentators? Is it how selective we are when it comes to discussing national issue to people, how we go about to handle people? We should also be held accountable. We should also be held responsible for people to make clear comments, statements without pushing back. The liberal.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, Mr. So, you're quite correct. I agree with you. However, I'm not here to tell Spoon how to run their platform. It left with the audience who goes on Spoon, and if they're satisfied with the way Spoon is handling themselves, so be it. I'm not going to question that. However, they think about this here with Minister McGill issue. Like I've always say, I don't want to reduce this just to Liberian politics, but this is a very serious business, and this is what I've always said, that CDC and its people continue to give us whether it be opposition or just Liberian media institution or platform, whatever you want to call it.
Disclose your identity. You are not had you are a Liberty Party.
So I am a Liberty Party. You
so don't put us into a speculative here. And this is why I don't like. Don't put us into a speculative room here.
Mr. So I am member of the Liberty Party USA, not Liberty Party Liberia. So please, let's get that point. But let me finish my point, Mr. So the point that I'm making here is CDC always give us these unforced error. Mr. McGill, if he's not somebody who, like Leo correctly stated, somebody who is a low-class person in our society. Minister McGill, if he was to travel to the United States or any other country outside of Liberia, he will be welcomed by many Liberians. And whatever venue he said, I'm going to have a town hall meeting, that place is going to be packed. Not because Liberians have nothing to do, but because perhaps they feel that he has some information that can be beneficial to many Liberians overseas and what have you. So Minister McGill holds a specific position in the minds and hearts of many Liberians. However, Mr. So, this is something that they continue to do. They say something and then they say, you prove me wrong. That's CDC a hallmark. That's what they do. But in this situation, look what happened today with the apology from Spoon. They've now turned the whole thing into Minister McGill, put it back in his court. However, this is Liberia. But 2-3 days from now, you won't even hear this. This will be done. Nobody will talk about it again. And these are kinds of things people like Minister McGill and Samuel Too and the other group recognize that Liberians have a short attention span. And so they do these kinds of stuff, knowing full well there's no repercussion. There's not going to be any kind of payback. There's not going to be any kind of pushback from anybody. So they'll come out and make these kinds of statements. But the point here is this. We're talking about Senator Dillon. He's also is not a slouch. You can't just push him around. This thing, Senator Dillon's going to milk this thing all the way to the bank, Mr. So. Believe me, Senator Dillon, whatever opportunity he has, he will drag it in the face of CDC. He will drag it in the face of the hierarchy of CDC with this kind of unbelievable statement from Minister McGill.
Okay. Leo?
Yeah, I mean, let me disagree slightly with Mr. Toe here on the Liberal Progressive on the issue of they can say it because people just talk about it for a few days from now and forget about it. I don't necessarily agree. These statements have a way of recycling themselves back in the right moments at the right time, and they do come back to bite in different ways. If anybody read the recent human rights report from the U.S. State Department, some people were shocked as to some of the things that made it in that report, things that they thought were just casual, normal stuff. It shouldn't be. Even Minister McGill talked about it last night. That's something he has said also made it in the report. We said he's going to take it up with the State Department. So maybe they refuse to acknowledge the consequences, right? But I would tell you that these things don't just go easy. There are people sitting in Monrovia there working around. They don't talk, but they use the appropriate mechanisms within the international community to file in reports, to filing complaints. Every day people are writing these complaints and report. So I would say I don't think they are oblivious to the fact that these things don't just go away, especially when I heard Minister Maggie saying last night that there was some case or something he complained about, and apparently he was surprised to see it. I made it in the U.S. Human Rights Report. But what I would say to a bigger extent here is that we also have to realize that we all do have accountabilities for what we say and what we do or what we don't say, right? I know people complain that, oh, Spoon sometimes is biased and they're this. For me, it's not about that. It's about every platform deciding what do you want to be perceived as? Do you want to be perceived as bringing unbiased information? Do you want to be perceived as bringing, balanced information straight? You ask the right questions.
Or do you want to be like in the entertainment world or more informative and like strictly to the bullet point questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So with this here, because we just played the tape here, Maggie was talking. Kev, who is a contributor to Spoon, come on, shut him up. If you don't want to say A, I will say A. Can one begin to figure out, was this sort of orchestrated, something like that? Okay, I can be the sacrificial lamb in this whole thing here. Do you think that was the case?
I don't think so. Even if it was the case, I don't think it even matters to begin with.
Or do you think Maggie was unaware of Kev coming up with that?
The way Kev said it gave the impression that this was something Maggie was aware of. Because he said, Maggie, I know you don't want to go there. He wouldn't have said so if Maggie was. That's assuming that Maggie already knew, but Maggie did not want to go there.
Don't go there. You are a big dog. Don't
exactly.
It. I would be the liberal. Do you think that was the case?
Yes. Well, again, I find myself in this kind of position to try to be the critique of other media platform. I tend to stay away from those kinds of stuff because every one of us, we have our own platform, and whatever they do on that
you
side.
are not making up anything. So what is your fear? We are talking exactly.
This is not a critique of the platform either, right?
Who's scared? Of course, I can't see you now. So now let me put on my glasses.
Yeah, you need to put on your glasses because if you don't have that glasses, I don't want to say you.
We are not critiquing the platform.
You guys are the one that continue to spoil and have what wrongdoing.
So let me try to little bit push you a little bit on this here, and you and Leo in fight. What I believe in is this: any one of us have the right to make statement. Even if the statement is not true, we also expect people to challenge them. I Samson told, I'm not comfortable to sit here to try to critique the behavior or how another platform carry out their activities. We all
are we talking about critiquing to another platform?
Can you please let me finish my statement? Or you're gonna now gonna throw your conservative weight around again tonight and trying to sanction me? Is that what you're yelling towards? Please. Wow. There are people that want to listen to the liberal progressive. Let me finish my statement. Now, if we're going to sit here and say this person said that, this person said that, I don't want to go there. What I'm saying, then I will continue to say, however Spoon decide to deliver whatever conversation they're having with Minister McKill, for me, it doesn't matter. It matters to the audience of Spoon. It matters to the viewer of Spoon. If Spoon feel that they're doing something right, for which they're getting 1,000+ viewer, it's up to them. I have nothing to do with it. What I'm saying as a Liberian, and the fact that my minister, who is also representing the Republic of Liberia, to go on social media and make such a ridiculous statement. This is what I'm dealing with. I'm not concerned with the messenger. It's the message that I'm dealing with. And I think it's very wrong.
Where are we performing a surgical operation now? You are doubling down here. Leo, can you help this guy, please?
Yeah, let me challenge Mr. Tool on this one, because the two things are not separate. They happen literally. How can you say you only talk about Minister McGee and don't talk about relating issues that contributed? But number two, I disagree, Mr. Toll, that you say any one of us sitting here have the right to come out and say whatever we want, even if it is not true. I disagree. We don't have that right. If you were sitting in your living room and you wanted to say whatever you want to say in your living room, I would agree. But when you come in the public sphere under the disguise of saying you're coming to educate the public and report news and do this, and then you say you can just say whatever you want to say, even if you know it is not true, no, that's wrong. Because in the process of doing that, you could be damaging somebody's reputation. In the process of doing that, you could be destroying somebody else's life because of the type of incorrect information you put out there. So I would say, if you're coming in the public domain to say you are reporting information, especially when it relates to an individual or someone else, then yes, you do have a responsibility to ensure that the information you are putting out there, you are able to
Brother Johnson, brother,
hold on, the liberal, you
so
let me land. Let me land, Mr. Soto.
Please wear something to
let me just land. You are either a public figure, you are either a media or representative, you are either a journalist or a political analyst. These are not things that you personally do in your living room. These are things that you come here and take public information and try to either report the facts, in some cases try to persuade people to believe what you're saying is true. So you better, if it is a lie and then you come up and you say, I know it's a lie, then you are just a fraudster. Then what's the difference between you and the guys who do that?
Let me address this. And you can't bamboozle. Both of you will not be able to kick me out, bamboozle me into accepting your view. I'm not going to do that. This is what, Leo, let me address this. You're this close to saying the word sanction on the people. No. Don't say, you can't separate that. Now let's go a little bit deeper into this, Leo. If I'm coming out on a platform where I know many Liberians or many people are listening, I have the responsibility to say what is truth. However, I also have the right. There's two different things. I have the responsibility to be truthful. However, I have the right to speak my mind, whether it is true or not. You can't. How are you going to stop me from doing?
Let me just tell you right now.
So when the lie become a good thing, when the lie become an exemplary character for public figures,
when do you stop me from expressing myself?
But when do I stop you from lying on other people too?
Are you not going to have a lie detector test on people?
No, you just say you know it's a lie. If you have the right to still speak your mind.
I know if it is the lie. Listen to me. I have the responsibility. Let me say it again. I have the responsibility to be truthful. I also have the right as an individual
to lie
freely.
To lie
or not.
What is freely? What is the definition of freely?
Lying on somebody is called defamation of character.
Have you heard other platforms, in international platform, where people condemn them to say they're being untruth statement coming out of them?
No.
Hang on. No. There are two things you are actually talking here. Let me say this.
Exactly.
No. Hold on. You are comparing apples and oranges, and let me say why. If somebody came to Mr. Soul's house and burned Mr. Soul's house down because they said Mr. Soul is a sedition, right? Mm-hmm. And somebody else comes up and say the patriotic oath of our country is to go after people that are seditions, and this is what we believe. That is not a lie about a statement. That is not a fact that happened and the person is twisting. The person is saying, we believe that people who are seditions, houses should be burned down. It's different when somebody burned down Mr. Soul's house because they were a sedition, because he was a sedition, and then you come up and say, no, you know what, that person, even though they say they are...
That's an action. Let us try to separate. Let me ask you.
Mr. Soul, I will not let you cut me off.
Let me ask you this.
Soul, you will let me land. You will let me land. You will let me land. Let me just land here quickly. So think about it. Somebody coming up and saying they know for a fact that Darius DeLon went and requested $2 million before signing on to the printing of bank notes. It's not a matter of what you think. And you are saying it as a factual statement. And he said it is a fact. He was pretty clear.
And beyond that, if I can't...
Let me ask you this, Leo. Let me ask you, Mr. So let me ask Leo this question, and then we can move on. I'm not going to fight over this with my liberal. I'm not going to waste too much of my liberal energy on something that I know I'm right. So I'm not going to fight much on it. But let me ask you this, Leo. If in a community or somewhere, do you allow people to express themselves freely because you believe that these people will be saying the truth, or you allow the people to speak freely and let the audience judge as to whether this person is making a true statement or not?
If I'm in a position of, let me answer him, Mr. So, if I'm in a position of privilege and leadership, I allow people to speak responsibly. I don't allow them to just say whatever, even if they destroy other people. That's not free speech.
We will now consider Leo to be the minister of sanctioning body.
No, that's being irresponsible. If you just speak freely and tarnish other people, that's irresponsibility.
This guy,
yeah, I agree with you.
So I can't be in a position of leadership and facilitate irresponsibility.
Negate the fact that you have the right to speak your mind. Let's agree on that.
If you commit a crime, you should be sanctioned for committing a crime.
You're mixing now. You're
mixing. No. You are said defamation of character. Okay. I will not. If they say I run a company, right? I run a media company. Let's say if I run a media company, and on my platform, somebody came to my platform and said something that was a blatant lie, and they said because they were speaking their mind, I should allow them say a lie and mislead the audience.
And it just something you sound so ridiculous here tonight.
When we started, that's one of the reasons why I refuse to go and police.
No, it's not about being refused. You are not doing. Look, as a presider, you are anchored of a program here, and if you sit on the program on your watch, and somebody, any of your callers just call in, oh, the president of so is there today. And then you, oh, really? Okay, this president is there. And you just walk away because you want people to express their freedom. When you are presiding over something like now, we all are
Is there any punishment for lying?
It's not a matter of punishment. It comes with destruction. It comes with
punishment. Shut up for lying. To lie. Let me just tell you this, and I'm not going to hide it. I will allow people to express themselves freely. It's not the matter.
Wow.
If I believe that they're lying, it is my job to say whatever that you heard here, I don't believe the case. But I cannot shut you off because I believe you're going to lie.
That's not what we are saying. That's not okay. You know what?
I have a question. No, Mr. So, I have a question.
And we're not a
question. Mr. To, I have a question for you. What if after Keith said that DeLon received $2 million last night, an angry mob got so angry because they believe it was true and went to Senator DeLon house and light it on fire because they believe he got $2 million?
Listen, Leo, I think you're missing my point.
No, I'm missing your point. That's a direct connection.
You are.
That is what lying does.
Let me just say it again.
Now, the reason
you as an individual, in order to come on public forum such as this, you must be responsible. That's
now you're saying be responsible.
But even at that,
you still have the right to speak your mind.
Even if it means somebody, burning somebody's house.
The right to speak your mind is two different things. So they are two of them different.
Even if it means burning somebody's house down.
You have to be responsible, but you have the right to speak your mind. Whether you lie or not, you have the right to speak your mind.
Okay, we got to move. Let's go to the second point here because this guy is sounding so ridiculous tonight here. You get a right to speak your mind, even when it costs somebody's life and honor your watch. And then why do you have police officers? So anybody get a right to kill, to do anything because they have that authority to do that. That's why you are telling us here. And that's the sort of liberal idea. You guys that are in California, you allow people to have their free will. And I can tell you, as long as you are on LPR, on your watch, anything that is said on LPR, on your watch, when you're angry, you will be held liable, you will be held responsible. And this is why we do not allow people to come and make careless and ridiculous statements without any facts. Let's get to the point here because, okay, so that was the incident yesterday. Let's see what happens today. I believe Senator Dillon already had a rendezvous with them to appear. And let's see how Senator Dillon also handles himself. And this is where the lack of political tolerance with our politicians, they have. And there's a simple reason for that. That's part of the trumpets' behavior because they have their folks that love to see them playing in that directions. Let's see here. Let me just go back to this little one here and see here. Okay, let's play the little boy again, then we'll go back to the first one.
But you are making some demands. The report was given to DeLong. How the report DeLong was used. And I said, Senator DeLong, you just get a check of $633,000 issuing Liberian labor day, and you say asking how other people use the money. The central bank has issued that $1 billion was used on government expenditure. $2 billion went to a commercial bank, and the report is in your hand, and you're using the report. I hate to say you want to do. So you cannot see Keith Hassan is saying because they were making demand for other issues, and they now accusing people of being corrupt. But I think if you talk about corruption, DeLong should ask himself. I think he's the main man who is in the center of corruption. And if DeLong want to have a debate on the issue, we're exposing. And I'm ready to expose DeLong. And he knows I'm ready to talk about. I'm ready to expose DeLong.
Okay. I'm ready to expose DeLong. That was Maggie, you saw Ben Cindy there, something for friends there. You saw him there from his facial expression. But let's see what happened. But interestingly, you listen to Eugene Fagon, Evelyn podcast, the 633,000 or whatever that is mentioned, that was the check. Whether it's authentic or not, I just saw it on the screen. I've not validated it. But that was something Nathaniel McGee mentioned yesterday. And that's a check today we saw what his name said, Eugene Fagon was displaying, said, well, keep sending it to him. What is going on here? But let's go to today's incident and see what happens here. And we can have a discussion before we cut a deal here this evening. All right, hopefully this will do us a favor. Let me see, is this just a one here? Oh no, this is not a play, folks, just bear with me. Let me just get this one off here completely. Oh no, let me get this. Guys, just bear with me here. Let me see what this one here. I want to bring in today's interaction. Let's see here. I'm not sure. Hopefully that this one here. Okay, let's go this one here.
I got tolerant to allow you to flow. My role is to do appropriation through the budget. The function and the role of the executive is to implement the budget. Sure. When the budget is implemented in keeping with the dictates of the budget, we all take the glory. When the budget is not implemented by the implementer, then we must ask the implementer questions. Why? Because I can cross the boundary of my function.
All right, Minister Doe, we will come back. Kev Hassan, again, you can jump in with your two questions.
Honorable DeLong, how are you? Welcome to the show. I'm just going to go straight to the point. Are you going to at least the lights are in your hometown, Bassa? The street lights in your hometown, Bassa. Are you going to at least credit that to the administration for putting the street light? It's a yes or no question. So in Bassa.
I thought we'll start with you with a $2 million.
We're not there yet.
I would not answer any question from you, Keith, until you produce proof of man.
Okay. This is where the political tolerance I was talking about. This is where it kicked in here. Now, Leo, Senator Dillon, he's a public figure. Key Hassan came through his rare meat. What I was orchestrated, what I came from the higher up, we still have no idea. So hopefully, at some point in time, we will get to A. Kev is an analyst on the platform like you are, Samson to Pa George, Professor Zawo. So if we invite a guest and supposedly one of us or somebody says something that does not, there is no sanction. I don't know what was the workout due there to fair to mention. Or do you think, let me get your take here. Do you think Senator Dillon handled that as it should be?
If you ask me, I would say Senator Dillon missed the opportunity to score some serious political points, in my opinion. I think he missed the opportunity. Here was a perfect opportunity to crucify Keith right on the cross, especially if you know this information is so inaccurate or wrong, blatantly wrong. Keith is a Liberian citizen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keith made an outrageous, allegedly unproven allegation against Senator Dillon. Senator Dillon came and Keith asked him another question directly. He brought the issue up. I would have said to him, Keith, you are a Liberian citizen. And because I'm a senator of this government, let me educate you and let the Liberian people know that you spewed falsehood last night on what you said. And I challenge you and the entire government, if you say you are not lying and what you're saying is not false, then prove it. I think they don't miss the opportunity by gratifying it and saying, I will not answer any question or take any question from you. It's almost like he's showing that he's angry. It's like he's allowing to get under his skin rather than saying, you know what, Keith, I will not mention it for the, since you people could not do the audience justice last night, let me take the opportunity for the great Liberian people who can join your show to listen every night. Let me help them. Since you are not competent enough to be able to provide them proper, accurate information, let me give them an opportunity to get it. I think, Senator, they don't miss the opportunity to seriously set the record straight.
Okay. So, and this is where, let me go to the liberal, let's get his view on that. And this is what I said, most of our Liberian politicians, these people, they need an advisor. They need a counsel. They need people to talk to them, especially when they are going out there within the public domain. There must be some sort of tolerance that you have. The liberal, take it from the liberal context here. Undo your partisans as a liberty partisan here, whether USA or Liberia. Let's see here. Let me see whether we can play a little bit more of it, and then you can come back. Then you talk.
So Senator Dillon, on this show, we have what we call segment.
Let me add to Kev. Dillon, we come in there. We got that.
Yeah. So we cannot jump there. We can't.
Question plan. It would drive us off, please.
There's a rule. So
and on the show, the rule is when you ask the guest the question, the guest can choose to answer or not. And I choose not to answer Kev until he produces proof.
Oh my goodness. The liberal. On this show.
Thank you.
The guest also come with his own set rule on the show here to the guest chooses to answer when he or she wants to answer. Let me get your take.
Thank you very much. I want you now to just simply enlarge my picture a little bit. I don't want to be squeezed in the corner. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. So. Leo, thank you very much, my brother. And that's one of the reasons why I love to listen to you and I love to have engagement with you from time to time. But my brother, life is very funny. Let's be real. You said from the beginning that people do not have the right or cannot or should not just go in public forum and make some ridiculous statement. I agree with you. But here you are, just a few minutes now, you said Senator Dillon missed the mark where he should have just addressed the young man to say, let me educate you. And that's exactly what I've been pushing all night. Kia has the right to make statement, whether ridiculous or not. Now, Senator Dillon came back up, and this is the perfect time to now educate Kim. You have the right to make a statement, but you do not. And you must not come out here and make some allegations that are damning to other people's character. That's how you deal with it. You cannot say the fact that you're going to damage my record and damage other people's record. You should not say anything. You can't sanction people. Now, as far as Senator Dillon is concerned, Mr. So, I agree with Leo. He missed the mark. I thought Senator Dillon would be big enough and truly, not just care, but the entire spoon, disabuse them of the rule of how you engage people. You cannot come on air and make such a ridiculous statement. When he asked that, Senator Dillon should not even now go and be the producer of Spoon to say what rules are established and what not established. That's also a little bit beneath Senator Dillon, and Senator Dillon should know better than that. So I think the next time he would handle himself real well, because I think this was a time. Even if you're not going to, what's his name? Kev, not ask the question. You're going to be answering the question. They're not going to tell you how to answer the question. You can come, he asks you for the light, you throw the light one side, and you address the issue that you want to address. Senator Dillon has the ability to do that. It's no question asked. So I think for him to come out and say, I'm not going to talk to you until you bring the proof or you say something, that's a little bit, as a liberal progressive, that's a little bit disheartening, and especially coming from the senator.
Well, you're confusing me, Mr. Liberal Progressive here. 1 second, you say it's okay for anybody to come and say anything. He says, Senator Dillon, so tell him, man, but you cannot come up here and assassinate my character. So why should Senator Dillon have the right to tell him, say, you cannot come up here when you just said everybody has
can say anything.
Listen, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. We're going to go back there again, please. The CARE has the right as an individual to make whatever statement he makes.
As an analyst,
they can come back.
Just to correct you, as an
you
analyst,
have the right to say whatever you want to say. But this particular issue, you do not, and you cannot say this. I'm here to rebuttal. That's what they call rebuttal. Leo, you rebuttal.
As an analyst, just to correct you, he's an analyst.
So why are you holding Darius Dillon responsible now? You agreeing with Leo? When Dillon can say whatever he wants to say.
Whatever he wants to say. Just open your mouth and just blow whatever he wants to blow up. Why are you saying
he could have done that, and there's nothing to stop it. I'm just suggesting that if Senator Dillon really want to address this issue, he could have said, he asking about the light in Grand Bazaar County, Senator Dillon should have just put that aside and make a statement, address the issue of the money issue immediately. And Spoon will not tell them, say, no, hold on, don't say anything until we ask that question. So
let me ask a rhetorical question here. Is that the first time government officials to be accused of something?
No, not at all.
So what makes it a big a big deal, and that Senator Dillon was also requesting for proof? I mean, government officials is everywhere. People will say anything, especially in the divided country that we are in. Kev is a sedition, so rest and sure, he's not going to tell you, say you get a wrinkle neck. No.
I will say something to that. It's a bit different, Mr. So it's different when ordinary Liberians in the streets are passing around street corners and gossiping, or saying, Senator Dillon can steal Senator Dillon's store. That's different, right? Mm-hmm. When you have a popular talk show platform, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have Senator Dillon as a guest on that show, facing someone who made a remark in the presence and acquiescence of the Minister of State of the government, right? This was not some sad conversation that happened somewhere. But I will also say to another thing, I often show people an example as a leader. Senator Dillon won votes from CDC as well, if I were him. You want to look as a leader. You remember the moment Senator Dillon became senator, he also senator for all citizens of Monserrado now, even seditious who hate him. He's also their senator. So if they come out and say something ridiculous, you can say you'll call a speech from them, or you'll not talk about it until they show you proof. When the truth is, they're also citizens. As ridiculous as you think they are, you are also their servant. You're not just serving for CPP people, the people who voted for you. You are servant for all of the citizens from Monserrado, the ridiculous ones, the smart ones, the not so smart ones. So you need to find the best way possible. That's why I didn't think he needed to go in. He elevated Keith today, in my opinion.
Okay, let me take the call here quickly here. I'll go ahead quickly to 1 minute, Mr. Gilmore. Welcome to the show.
Good. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, good to see you. Okay, so I know you've been listening to what all been going on footage on the sister network Spawn TV. What's your thought?
Yeah, let me say thanks to you guys. For, I mean, it's a pretty good topic tonight. I don't know how long it will last. For those of you that know me also, I mean, we're part of the long campaign. Serve as treasurer. At the same time,
go to the point, Octavius.
The thing is, the thing is, I want us to be very careful. Those who making the case of bashing keep aside. To be very careful tonight, because the bed that you are making, I don't think you can lay on it tomorrow. So you gotta be very careful how we go after Keith, because at some point it will be difficult for us to come back and explain it. And so I mean, I'm more concerned with my country than party. I'm more concerned about.
So where are you picking? Where are you picking it from? What's the point? Are you?
I think I can keep based on what I know, Keith was laying the premise that he wanted Delon to fall in, and because Keith is just like me, we start off, and it's difficult for us to get our war out, and when you make our mind, we tend to begin to starter mode, and then we either keep quiet and walk away or do something stupid. And so I understand where people are coming from. I don't support some of the ideas, but I will be the dumbest one to even bash, to bash it or to say he's stupid.
Okay.
I don't think Keith supposed to apologize. I don't think the network supposed to apologize. Delon is a senator.
So quickly here, let me put a nail on the head yet. Another call coming. You validate what Keith said, or what? Is that a point? He was a treasurer.
No. Based on what I know, I can say that Delon, based on what I know, Delon was not involved. Listen to my English here now. Delon was not involved in anything. But the question that of any composition with any party member, that's the million dollar question. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let me go. Yeah, the caller that were asking, the number is also on WhatsApp. If you are international caller, you can call that number to on WhatsApp 682-433-8802. Okay, I get this number here, 443 number 0291. Caller Ty, good evening. Oh, hold on 1 second. What happened? Hold on. Something not right. Okay. Just bear with me. Let me see here. Hold on. This is trickle on something here. I just want to get it out here quickly here. Okay, caller, are you there?
I'm here, Fonso. I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I went to my Bluetooth. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Who's one of the callers?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. There's a 443 number first in our count of 502 number 443 0291.
Yeah, thank you. 443 is me, James Lassa. I want to say good evening to you, Fonso, and your guests on the show. And I just want to make a little contribution. I think Leo, both of your guests, your analysts, did make very great points. That especially with Leo Johnson, he recognizes the responsibility of the platform in terms of how language is used on their show. We all see that, and we all should be seeking to improve our performances.
Right.
So you will never see on Fox or CNN or any of these major networks where people just go and castigate one another. Don't do that. The network will take responsibility, and if they were surprised by it, they will tell you to report and they will ask you for evidence. If you don't give the evidence, then they cut it off and indicate that what was said is not, they are not responsible for it. They will make a disclaimer and in fact give the benefit to the person who is not present. What Kev actually did render legal exposure to So Spoon Network is not above the law. If they use that platform to tarnish into DeLong's image, reputation, they could have liability in that. Of course, DeLong's major asset in life is not money. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have any royal background. His key commodity, his forte, is his reputation, which is why you saw the kind of passion expressing him tonight. So I think he was in place, and Leo was saying, Mr. Johnson was saying that DeLong did clarify that the application wasn't true, and so even it reinforced that message was to demand.
So, but so, Mr. Lassa, let me ask you: was he also right? I don't know what was the technical details in the background before coming to the program here as to whether he maybe Senator DeLong probably made a request. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Okay, this is a guy that I've accused, means I don't want him to be part of the panelists, but he's aware that Kev is part of the panelists, and he could potentially ask a question. Was he on the right side of history of demanding proof before answering his question? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, after all, you have probably about five analysts or 5 persons or 5 to 6 persons on the show. So if one person didn't ask the wrong question, that wouldn't amount to getting the essence of the interview in a way. And that was a message that Dylan was sending. And this is the only thing that is lacking in the whole country, not just the government, is reputation. And Dylan has rated on that. That is what he is known for. You're not going to play for that. I think he performed very well tonight. I just want to conclude by saying that he did refute, he did deny the allegation and said he wasn't going to answer the particular minute, and he did that. I thought that was good, and that's why we are discussing it tonight. You don't just go on any platform and accuse somebody. And like you got your analysts on your show, you might have legal exposure or liability if they castigated any person who might want to consider legal option. So yes, I thought that was proper. And Spoon's response was also appropriate.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, Ty 502 number 1609. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
I'm Todos Diaz Joubert calling from Ohio.
Okay, go ahead, buddy.
Oh yeah, thank you for following me the time on your network, and I would like to say hi up to Johnson and Mr. Toe. You know, something our society that today we see as ordinary thing is that people castigate, people trample on people's character, and other people just let it just slip away. These are things that endanger your life. These are things that take away your life. And so how to protect our character nowadays? You will see many people in our society will just come up and say things that they don't have facts on. And I'm a detonator by standing for a character. We should learn how to stand for our character. And to give and Pato that is on the show, I'm not being personal, but if you are a member of the political party and you are a panelist on certain show, I think you should leave your partisan issue behind you and discuss the issue that is full. Don't bring your ego to the discussion that is unfolding. That's one of the things I noticed. He's always on the show. He's always bringing the issue of sedition to the discussion. That is not right. He should stop those things that he always.
No, but yeah. Let me. Okay, before I let you go, fair to mention, right? I think there's a complete combinations. Yes, a representation in terms of their political affiliation. So it is known, even on the greater network, CNN together, Fox, they get a contributor from the Republican side, from the Democrat side, from Independent. Even here, this liberal guy you're talking about, he's from my Liberty Party. We have Professor Arce Zablo here, who is from the CDC. Leo, he's a different person who's pushed the agenda of the country first and foremost. And so you're going to always see that reflection. But I think what matters is here is that in as much you like your party, it doesn't mean that you should say anything you want to say, especially if it is not a factual one, fair to mention.
That is my issue. If you listen to Johnson on your show tonight, Johnson knew DeLong. When DeLong slipped, Johnson said it clear. It was clear. He said DeLong slipped at this one. If you are a panelist on a show, that's how you behave. You leave the issue of partisan behind you. But on the other hand, and Mr. Two there, you see Mr. Two trying to make the situation like everything about CDC was right. That's why he portrayed.
Okay.
On the show, and Keith to I think about even the assistant minister and U.S. Sport. Because he left the show, you have to leave the show. You take it as the political stuff.
All right, thank you, my man. Let me go to the other. Okay, let me go to the other part. Thank you. All right, let's get it, guys. I'm gonna come to you. Let me go to this number here, 404 number 9635. Let's make it succinct, and I will come to 978 number 404 number. Are you there? 9635.
Yes, I'm here, and I want you to give me the same time you just gave the other fella.
Okay, man, I'm fine,
This is Dr. Kula calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Let
me explain something simple to Liberian people. There's a difference between being on a show and saying George Weah is corrupt because after he retired, was in opposition. He could not build a mansion. He could not renovate his dilapidated house on 9th Street. He wasn't able to build 47 villas. However, 6 months into his presidency, he built 47 villas. He broke down his dilapidated house and put up a mansion. You can say that, but when you say specifically that Dylan took $2 million from an individual, and if Dylan come here and denies it, you will expose him, you will prove it, and then push come to shove, you can't prove anything. In Liberia, where they're setting for Dylan, where people are recording people's voices, where we heard the chairman of CDC play, chairman of CDC saying on a recording all kinds of things about the president, how he goes and gets money and he uses it for himself, money that's supposed to be for the government. All sorts of things. You think if Dylan had called somebody and asked for $2 million, then would I record his voice and expose him? Come on now, Liberian people, let's think. You know, let's be critical in our thinking. Let's be analytical in our thinking. Dylan was bold, and he was
so quickly here. Do you think? So quickly here, sir. Do you think this was orchestrated prior to that? Even the appearance of Minister Mangi? Was that what do you think was orchestrated?
I think McGill and them fed what a boy named Keith with that information, and they've been feeding Keith with all kinds of information, allowing Keith to go and spill those things on air, and then when push comes to shove, they're not able to provide Keith anything. Keith was sitting there waiting for them to provide him information. If you look at him all the time, he was looking on his phone. he was made a fool out of himself. He made a complete fool out of himself.
Okay, my man.
Yeah, people are setting him up. They're setting him up. They're telling him to see things. And then when push comes to shove, they can't prove it. Now they make Keith look like a fool. If I was Stanton, I wouldn't let Keith on my show anymore. You can be partisan, but when you put information out there, put out the right information. Don't just put out information as propaganda to do you have no proof.
Mama, somebody is talking. When you're talking on another, will not know. Okay. All right, Mama. Thank you so much. Let me go to the next person. Thank you so much. Okay, let me go to the next person here. 978 number 2338. Are you there? Yeah. Okay, 978 number. Go ahead quickly.
You asking for 2338? I think you said 2338.
Hold on 1 second. I think maybe they are similar number. Let me make sure. 978 2338. 978 2338.
Yeah, that's me then.
Okay.
This is a Pape Flomo.
The old man Flomo is there.
Pape Flomo is there, call.
Hold on, guys. No. We don't do that here, please. When he done, you can speak to and we can pick it up from
okay. Let him go ahead. I will.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Old man Flomo.
No. Let him go ahead. I will come back to you. No problem. Go ahead.
It's scary.
Go ahead now.
Look, guys, Flomo, go ahead. There are other people calling here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the guy who said you can say that Georgia is corrupt because he didn't build his mansions until after he became president. That's the same accusation. That's exactly the same accusation that Keith leveled against Dillon. There is no difference. The fact that you say President Weah is corrupt, whether he built mansion or not, if President Weah was someone like Dillon who would want to take you to court, now you have to go and prove that he's corrupt. The idea that, okay, he didn't build his mansion before he became president, that does not suffice in court. We have to prove. So what the brother said is technically not true. You cannot use that argument to say, the man didn't build his mansion until he became president. So that's my proof. No, if the for that accusation, listen, that argument does not suffice. That's number one. Number two, Keith was on the show. He said what he had to say. And then Stephen Witherspoon said yesterday, these were the sound of disclaimer that anything they say on the show is their own thought and it's not a view of the Spoon Network. So today he came apologizing. So for the apology, Mr. Stephen Witherspoon has set a precedent. So now Ben Sandy and Mr. Peabody and Timon and George, that three of whom support the government, now they cannot accuse any government official, neither can they accuse President Weah without any cogent and substantial evidence. Now they box themselves, they limited themselves. They cannot accuse the president no more without evidence based on what Mr. Stanton Witherspoon said today. And now let me conclude here. Darius Dillon, even though it is his right to push back, to say, listen, I want to get evidence from this guy, he got to present evidence. I will never answer any question until he presents evidence. The thing is, let's look at the moral aspect of it. You have Dillon, who supports Henry Costa, who accused the president of murder. The president murdered the auditor. The president killed those 3 boys and took 6 kidneys from them, even though you need only 1 kidney to survive. And Dillon paddles around with Henry Costa, and he's on the board of the COP. So where is Dillon's moral standing to ask Keith to give him evidence when he paddles with such corrupt people?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, let's make it as short as possible. So 609 number 2492. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Abraham Beiza. I'm calling from New Jersey.
Welcome, baby. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. In the first place, let me just ask Papi Flomo a question before I go ahead.
The man go on, man. Yeah, go to.
Yeah, but you will hear it. The thing we are hearing.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. He talked about people are accusing Weah of killing people. Okay, I want to ask you a question. The question is that if you build a house or you own a house, and in our house you have 5 children in our house, and you live there as the father of the children, all right? And then people come in our house and take 2 persons for that and kill them. And when they kill them, you just open your door, you see the blood, you close your door, you go back in your house, you sit down. You think who they want to accuse? So I mean, he should look at it. Labdua was given to Weah. He said he wanted to rule the country. He wanted to govern the country because the country was going bad.
Who gave it to him? Who gave him the country?
The Liberian people.
Oh, okay.
The Liberian people that voted for him.
Oh, okay.
They gave it to him.
Oh, okay.
So if he's there and they kill him and he can't talk and they kill the auditor and say, the people who were playing love in a car, they think they're going to go to Papi Flomo and go Papi Flomo and say, you don't want to kill our people. These people, they don't want to carry on. They don't want to spoil their country yet because of money. They pay them, so they have nothing to say. Now, counter to my statement, I think Dara Dillon needs to really, really, really be careful with what he eats, with what he talks, with where he pees, and with where he sleeps. He needs to be very careful because they're killing him every night, every day, and every hour. They are killing him.
How you got to know? Telling him to do what?
Because the people want to make sure that he corrupts. They want to make sure that he corrupts because they are vexed and they are angry. Why he say he is the light? So they are looking for every possible way to dump him. So that is my advice.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, 612 number 5070. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Thank you, sir. This is Nino Brown calling from all the way from Fico, North Dakota.
Welcome, Mr. Brown. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me, brother. And thank you to the other hosts that you have there. Thank you for your time, you know. You see, one thing that I want to say, we Liberians, and if we don't care for, our country will always be the done. Because our mindset make us today, we are not moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we came to the Western world to gain something from people, the white people that will claim that yes, they are very educated, that we want to learn from, but still we don't learn. 85% of all that in the Western world, we are not learning. Because we Liberians, I don't know whether we understand the definition of politics, because politics is a dirty game. It's a dirty game. So now you accept it. You should know to the back of your head every day you sleep. So now you put your head up, there's an allegation will come. A lot of things will come before you. You don't answer it, or you brush around it, you walk away, and you continue your journey. That's what makes you a politician. It's not politician just to when they bring something before you, so long it's not in favor of you, you say it's a crime.
So where are we going right now?
Where we going? Okay, my point here is Darrell Deno is a politician.
Mm-hmm.
And we, it's the same thing the politician here in America here. People accuse them. But did they get angry? Did they walk away? No. They brush around. So King Hassan, he has the right to answer. I mean, he has the right to ask Deno, this is what happened. And this is the same thing, the same Deno due to another minister then. And why we can't be honest to ourselves, we Liberians, why we cannot be honest to ourselves? And that's what we promised to us today.
Okay.
We're not honest.
No.
We're not honest to ourselves because what I do to you today, what I say against you today, if you answer your question, whether it's true or not, you walk away, we will get to another state. But if you throw your question to me, then it becomes a problem.
Oh,
and
okay.
so no, we're looking for interpretation.
So people, in other words, people are acting like a preacher man now, right?
I know, right? I know. Because they just think that they are politicians, but they're not politicians because they don't understand about politics. Politics is a dirty game. When you Israel, you might accept anything that comes from east, from north, from south, from west.
Okay, all right. Thank you, my man. Let me go to the next person here. Okay, all right. Let me see here. We're soon. Okay, 301 number 2160. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Hey, Brother Zoo, your friend, Matt from Maryland.
Hey.
Long time, very, very long time.
I know. It's good to hear. Good evening and welcome.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Mr. Zoo, what I want to say here is that, you know, the politics of Liberia is so divisive, it's so divided as a result. You know, when you're on the other side, you don't see the wrong, you know. And we Liberians, we know what we have gone through the war. Thousands of our brothers and sisters, our mothers, they died. Okay. For those of us who survived, we shall learn a greater lesson from that. Too many lives cost life in Liberia. You know, I'm kind of taking the issue with the social media now with the politics, because on that same stone, Spoon TV a couple of weeks ago, before they talk about signing the bill for printing a 42 billion or what have you, I think Senator Gray went on that same station, and in the presence of the same panelists on that station, he accused the previous government how they print money, they keep the money in their houses. Now they want to change the money because they know that people have money in their houses. So as a result, and in fact went to the extent of even accused one of those guys who was Ben, saying that Ben all got money in their houses, you know. And the language of being irresponsible, it has consequence, you know, because there are people who believe, there are people who don't read, people they don't read between the lines. So whatever somebody that is supposed to say, they say, oh, it's true. So those kind of things, because I know I can read between the lines. if this government has something on the law, don't you think that that would have come out long time? But they go out there to just throw things to just, you know, stick on the wall. But we Liberians, we have to read between the lines to know what is wrong, what is right, you know.
Okay.
Whether they learn, you know. So my thing is that, like, the guy who said those things, if I was, because here in the States, if you go on the station or working in the station, if you go on the station to say something that is not true, they penalize you by expelling you or suspend you or fire you. You know, I feel that Spoon TV, they are very, you know, say popular in Liberia, but they have to set a precedent that because they too they get by. Question of time like yesterday, Minister Maggie, he made a comment which I believe in security, which is, you know, very sensitive. He said, "Oh, I'm a minister of state or presidential affairs. I know the code. Those who call, people call me in the night." That was not a place. You know, the Newsday division in Liberian politics as a region, the country will not go forward, brother.
Okay.
So those of audience who listen to this show, we Liberians here, you know, let us, you know, take a deep breath and let us do the right thing.
All right. Thank you so much.
If you're doing something wrong, say the man is wrong.
All right.
Because the man is your brother. That's what I want to say.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to talk to you.
All right.
And I'm back. I'll be watching your show.
All right. Thank you so much. Welcome on vacation. Okay. 314 number 0461. Thank you so much for holding on. What's your name and where you calling from? Are you there? 30314 number.
Mr. So sorry, I was on mute. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. What's your name and where you calling from?
Zaza, thank you so much for having me. I'm calling from Rhode Island.
Yes, Zaza, go. Yes, Zaza, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to ask a question before I go ahead.
Who you want to ask question? Kev?
Kev?
Oh, I thought that maybe Kev because Kev now. Yeah.
When Obama was excused as being a foreign born, that he was not born in America, was it those who accused Obama that brought the proof of his birthplace, or it was Obama who tried to clear the air? That's the first question that I asked. Obama was accused that he was not born in America. Was it Obama who came out to say, no, I was born here, this is my birth certificate, this is right? Or it was the people who were accusing that came and said, oh no, this is a birth certificate. Who are trying to clear the air? That's one. Number two, those who say Obama was not born in America and they accuse him of those things, did they say it in their house or they say it on the media? Were those media stations sued for saying those things? So I want to understand this thing. We are in the West. If we don't learn from the West, we will not change Liberia. If Honorable Dillon is accused and you respect his integrity and you take a poor life on him, there are two things you can do. Either prove it by showing everything that he earns what the classes he made in the house, or take the person who accused you to court if you don't have any other way of getting it out of them. But it's not, I answer the man. Why a drug guy comes up to me and says, no, I answer to everybody. What are we going to say? So we don't like drug guy. Are we going to say drug guy is rude or drug guy is this? Clear is not it's a put up of the law, but it's a Liberian. The law is a Liberian senator. So he's accountable to Cat. So he either approach Cat right there or he be later. So you shouldn't say, I haven't got anything to say to Cat. You know, you jump on the other side. No, that was not right. That's what I want to say. If we want to be better, we should practice things that make country better. We learn it here, we see it every day. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So, gentlemen, those are dissenting views from ordinary Liberians, and if you put them on the scale, the tone, the language from the people, you know exactly to where they are going, and some of the comparison. So, Liberal, who's this person again? Hello.
Yes. Hi. Good evening. How are you?
Good. Good evening.
How are you, Mr. Stowe?
Good. How are you?
Letitia Roberts here calling regarding the comment the gentleman just made.
Oh, okay, Madam
I
Robert,
would like
welcome.
to comment on that.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Well, while it's true that he should have the burden of proof, but this gentleman said last night that he had the evidence, and if he didn't provide evidence, he should be removed from the show. Those are his words.
Right.
So now, when he's asked to provide, not tangible evidence, but something more substantial than just saying something, then he doesn't do it, and so that's why the senator did that. I agree that what he did was right because people cannot just.
Well, so, Madam Roberts, when you say what he did was right, by he then answering, setting a precondition that he should provide facts before he can answer his question?
Yes, because he stated that he has facts. And one of the arguments were that Senator Dillon accuses the president. No, he doesn't. He doesn't say, I know for a fact, but he says, based on what has happened, the president did not bill before taking office, and he has, done all of this right after he takes office. It looks suspicious. If anything, he's pleading on his behalf to make things clear so that people do not prejudge him as we have all done.
Okay.
And so it's not the same thing that, Obama wasn't born in America and he has to prove it. Well, birth certificates are always available. So, but if I accuse you, Mr. So, that I have something on you, I have to show somebody else. Even if I don't show it to you until you can defend yourself, I have to show that. But he didn't even show it to the person who owns the show or the CEO. So that's something wrong. It's slander. Okay, and again, that's what we do in Liberia. That's true. All of us are guilty of it. But this is a public figure. He first of all does not even work in the government where he said he has access to those kind of.
Okay, so it's good to call here, Madam Roberts. And so quickly, let me just do a quick interaction before I let you go. So where does it put us down in the media industry, like yourself, having these platforms here? And it's kind of it's different. I mean, it's difficult to determine the directions of each network. Some of the hosts, exactly to where the for. But what should be our responsibility as presenters? I'm not talking about people who are doing propaganda, who are in the entertainment industry, but when you are running a media outlet, you're on an obligation to make sure that the facts and you get the information out there. What is the lesson learned from us, for us now too, that it doesn't matter who you bring, whether government officials, opposition, but people come and just say something, throw it out and walk away.
Yeah, no, I do agree. And that's why for those of us who claim we went to school, when you're stating stuff that you say is fact, you should have a quotation. Where is that information coming from? According to the Washington Post, Ellie Johnson Sully, for example, XYZ. Or according to the Daily News, whatever newspaper, the hot pepper in Liberia, Dylan was caught or they reported that there's some information leaked on Dylan. At least that says there's a substantial news outlet that reported that. But you can't just go say, oh, my friend called me and said, when you're on a so-called, Spoon is calling himself a media outlet, so they have to be accountable. And even on CNN, all those things they say, they have facts on it. They don't just talk on like our Liberian shows. Like I said, we're all guilty, but the difference between me and you are more I would think you are held more accountable than me because you're sitting on the platform. So if you bring an issue up, you should have facts of where you got that.
Exactly. It has to be verified. And at least most 3 sources. You can just get and take it. All right, Madam Robert, thank you so much for chipping in here.
I'll keep listening. Leo, my man, how you doing?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, 508 number here from the Bay State, neighboring state of Massachusetts. 508-8851. Good evening, caller, before we wrap up here.
Yes, hello. My name is Tom Kerr.
Okay.
And I'm calling. I'm calling from Massachusetts. Well, first of all, I just heard the lady say that before the news outlet in America to put out something that they have to make reference. Well, we were all here when they said Obama was not born in America. Sean Hannity, the guys from Fox News, and Bill O'Reilly, they were all running with that news that Barack Obama was not born in America and that he was born in Kenya. Even when he produced his birth certificate, Sean Hannity, who was on Fox News, he said the birth certificate was fake. So he never made reference to any news outlets to say according to the Daily Observer or according to New York Times. Sean Hannity took the news from Donald Trump and said the birth certificate was fake. Barack Obama faked the birth certificate. And the guy who said Mr. Toll should not bring his party sentiment to the show, listen, the show should have divergent views. So it's a show called Hannity and Combs.
Right.
Hannity was supporting the Republican, and Combs was also supporting the Democrat. So they bring their party sentiment. So the guy accusing Mr. Toll was very wrong. And then the last thing I want to say here, and that's a question to you guys on the show, and please answer this question. You can answer it after I leave. So based on the standard that Director Dillon have said that Kev, you will sue Kev and he will put Kev in court if Kev does not produce any evidence that he requested about $2 million. So can we now say that Bill Traore will win the case against Henry Costa because we know Henry Costa is not going to produce any evidence that Bill Traore killed that auditor? Can we now say that Bill Traore will win the case? Because that's exactly what's happening. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay, Benson, I will come to you. Let me go to this number here, 240. So we're going to be wrapping up very shortly. These are the last two callers. 240 number 506 now. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
This is Aliyu. I'm calling from Maryland. How are you doing?
Oh my goodness, here we come again tonight. Aliyu Samba. So let's hear from you.
Yeah, well, I wanna pick side with Mr. Toll tonight. In as much
you going to Tota?
Yeah.
You think will you be accommodator in Tota going with Mr. Toll? You are running a risk. You come join me, you go to Tota with Samson Toll? Okay, go ahead, my man.
I think there's a point that he's trying to make, but the team is just too large against him, so he's not having the opportunity to actually say what he wants to say the way he wants to say it.
Oh my goodness!
I think he's being distracted a little too much. You know, look, I think it was a mistake done on both sides. I think Spoon Network acted very unprofessional when they chastised their co-hosts or their panelists in the open. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because he had the right to say what he wants to say. The only problem that I saw, he should have used a word such as allegedly. You know, he's adamant to say that he has his source and he will stand by it. I don't know what Spoon's policy is regarding things like those, but I think they could have done it behind the scenes. Since yesterday the man brought this thing, it was clear that this guy never had any evidence of what he was saying. You know, but that's what happened. I think the mistake was just on both sides. I don't think they should have chastised him right on international platform like that. I think they should have, well, you know, they should have a policy in place where they can easily text their colleagues and say, look, you're going off track, this is against the rule. And so that they can come back on track. The accusation in itself, the $2 million accusation, Delon is a public figure, and he's a person with character as well. We all respect him. We all support Delon, and he has the right to take action. But my concern, though, is before I leave you guys, Spoon, people are complaining as to why Spoon had to apologize to Delon. Remember, even if Spoon decides to distance itself as an entity from Keith Hassan, it would not be possible in a court of law because Keith Hassan is a panelist on the Spoon Network. And I think DeLong got more upset because Spoon FM is widely listened to. Recent time I was in Liberia, I went to see some of the members in Tututa. Spoon is everywhere. So it's easy for anyone to use Spoon to destroy someone. And DeLong knows that. I think that's why he came down very hard, and he wanted to make sure that that information was completely, not just disputed, but completely trashed.
Okay, before we let you go, we're running out of time here. So was DeLong on point too? Like you alluded, Keith is a panelist, he's a contributor on Spoon. Was he on point by not answering Kev questions until he has provided some proof? Was he right?
It's not a question about right or wrong in that instance. I think his strategy did work. The strategy was to come on a show, the identical show that spread the message, to come on that identical show and dismiss the message. Now, how he did it, now if it was other platforms, I don't think DeLong would have been successful. And I don't think this is where people are trying to, question Mr. Waterspoon's credibility, because they're thinking that he's a fan of DeLong based on what happened. I don't think DeLong did it because he knew Waterspoon. I think DeLong did it as a way of dismissing that stuff on the very platform that spread the information.
All right. Aliu, thank you. So where are you now? You say you were Bueka now?
But let me just explain this on your platform, because you got one of the biggest platforms here, and I see some very credible people you bring on the show, including this thing called Leo, the man can talk. You understand?
My man, where are you now?
But let me get to your question. Let me answer you. I joined CDC from the embryonic 2004. You understand? 2005, we all carried George Weah, and we made George Weah president. And not Mr. Sorry, 2005, we all carried George Weah, and we lost. LNM beat us. We were still behind George Weah. At that time, I had traveled to Europe and then came to the United States. We were all over social media, still promoting the CDC. Until one, George Weah became senator. When he became senator, then I began to take it back. Two, when George Weah then formed the collaboration with the NPFL, I like to call it, and made Joe Howard, President Charles Taylor's wife, a VP, that further pushed me away. Since then, I try to be rational.
Okay. You know what? This your story here is a similar story for CDC.
I try to be rational and realistic. I wouldn't just say, I agree with people when they say something about him that is not true. Sometimes it appears as if I am defending the CDC, but I just try to be in the middle. 2017, if you watch me, I campaigned for Jose Yuma Bakai. 2017.
Okay.
Since 2017, I have not left Jose Yuma Bakai. So when people keep saying I'm going to the CDC, I'm coming back, I'm going to the CDC, I'm coming back, right now you hear me campaigning for Jose Yuma Bakai already.
Okay.
So I've been with Jose Yuma Bakai since 2017. I haven't joined the Unity Party. I have not left the CDC, but I refuse to support a CDC that's full of corruption. Thank you so much.
You're right. You all creative creature. All will put the master in play in your left ear. All your thing. We want to take you serious here. Okay, Messi, my man, you sure come on here? Go ahead quickly here before we wrap up. Messi, are you there? Hello?
Sorry, Mr. So I was muted. I didn't want to disturb the conversation.
Okay, go ahead quickly, sir.
Okay, on the issue, Mr. So you can look at it from one of two different ways. Keith Hassan on Spoon Show is not an invited guest. He is a panelist, a regular panelist on that talk show. That means, and that puts him in the line of an employee. An employee cannot make an employee within journalism. An employee cannot just jump up and make an unsubstantiated statement and say that I will keep you will keep your source until you take it to the law, and you will either provide your source or you go to jail for what you got. So Keith Hassan he made a statement of that statement that he could not prove. If you watch the show later in the show, he diverted from proving the fact of stating his evidence of the $2 million to say that Dylan had received over $500,000 during over the period of time that is not part of his benefit, direct benefits. So 2 million to over 500,000, that's a big gap. That's 25% you have gone down, you have dropped it down to. And it was asked for evidence he didn't have any. Yeah, Don DeLon has the right to tell him, Keith, I'm not talking to you till you produce your evidence for this accusation you have made. And since it was on Spoon, and it's Spoon's own employee, Spoon was the one to make sure that that evidence come up. And in the absence of that evidence, if DeLon doesn't want to talk to Keith, they could have removed Keith from the show and continue the show.
No.
That was the best thing to do.
All right.
There was another professional blunder. That Witherspoon overlooked, and that is the Minister Joe, who came out and said the apology writer to DeLon should not cover him, but he's a part of the panelists. He's also a part of the employee. So if it shouldn't cover him, then that means DeLon can also say whenever he comes on the show, he can say, I don't want Joe on the show. If you got Joe, I'm going. He can say that, or he can say, I'm not going to answer any Joe question because of his disrespect. He got a right to say that.
Okay.
So you see, that's a blunder, and Witherspoon need to take action on Joe for that too, because those two incidents put Spoon Talk at risk, and it brings the credibility down.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Okay, guys. Hello, guys. Are you there?
We're here.
All right. I mean, we just gotta get the views of the folks out there too. They are part of the integer, so okay. So as we're about to wrap up now, what is the biggest takeaway? Any loser? Anyone gain anything? Where are we going now? What is this message? With this sort of standard, will it be up to the task moving forward to say, okay, if you say this, you must do this. Okay, I'm a government official. You say something about me. If I come on a network, if you can't produce the facts, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to talk. Where are we going with this?
It's very interesting, Mr. Sony. Look at what is going on. And I would like to say this just for our listening audience. You know, Liberians, we're quick to just adjudicate things as right and wrong. Sometimes it's not right or wrong. Sometimes it's about appropriate versus inappropriate. I don't think anyone's making any argument that Senator DeLon did anything wrong. I was saying if he chooses to address it, he should have, in my opinion, address it with dignity, address it in a way where he was doing it for the sake of the audience and not for the sake of Keith and Spoon TV, because it was the masses out there listening to him. So nobody's just saying Senator DeLon was wrong. I don't want to go borderline wrong, but when you are a public official, when you are somebody high up there already, you have a responsibility to deal with things differently than you would have dealt with it if you were just an individual. That's all I'm saying. But to your point about the bigger takeaway here, I think the bigger takeaway here, we need to get to a point, I don't know if it's in Liberia, of clearly differentiating these talk shows from professional journalists, because I think they don't come with the same level of education when it comes to media, or the same level of experience, and shouldn't come with the same level of responsibility. I think that's a mistake. In Liberia, we take everybody to be journalists, even though there are some journalists involved in the talk show business as well that have journalism background, but it needs to be clear, because what a journalist will be held accountable for, or the standards at which you will hold a journalist accountable, is not the same standard that you hold some guy who has his opinion.
Oh, sure. No.
Press on the talk show. So I think the blur line between there will continue to cause more problems as we see people 1 second acting as journalists and another second acting as talk show hosts. But the last thing I will say,
acting as advocate,
yeah, okay, acting as advocates as well. But here's what I will say to Liberians. Senator DeLon, the same thing we say, you cannot accuse other people of behaving in a certain way. Then you accept your people behave that way, you say because they were right or they were angry. Senator DeLon is the senator for all citizens of Massachusetts County, including seditions, non-seditions, everybody. And in my opinion, I want Senator DeLon to hold up the same level of engagement. Doesn't matter whether they receive it or accept it or acknowledge it or not. I think, in my opinion, Senator DeLon is the leader here. He's the one in power. He has the responsibility to take the moral high ground. He also has a responsibility to turn these into teachable moments, not into anger moments, in my opinion. To turn these opportunities around and say, let me show you, when people slander your character and you have an opportunity to address it in a way that allows you to remain above the fray and not bring you down into a match between you and them, where it's Keith versus Senator DeLon, compared to saying, Senator DeLon said, I've dealt with this, I dismiss it, it's done with. I'm not going to have a conversation about it. I've said what I have to say. I will actually move on. So I would say to Liberians, again, hold your own leaders to the same standards you would have held if it was somebody else. And I think our leaders now, when you win, you have a responsibility to be a role model. If I had my son watching that show last night or tonight, I had my son watching it, I would have loved for my son to see how you deal with things in a cool, calm, and collective way when people come at you and you don't allow them to get under your skin.
Okay, politicians, our Liberian politicians always act on emotion. So the liberal progressive is based in the liberal land of Saxton, Sacramento, California. The liberal, what are we taking away?
Well, Mr. So, thank you very much. Those of us that come on this platform to express our opinions and what have you are not doing it to favor a specific situation or to favor a specific person or group. You come out here and you want to be responsible. You want to be truthful as much as you can. And so we come out here and have conversation. Just as you heard for almost 2-3 minutes, Mr. Johnson and I, we have a disagreement, a structured disagreement, let's put it that way. And so, but it doesn't mean that we're here. He's arguing because he wants to favor a certain group, or I'm arguing because I want to favor a certain group. If we do that, we're going to be diminishing our conversation to a mere gossip. And I think we passed that stage now. Now, as far as the entire episode with respect to Spoon TV, once again, I will try to stay away from other advice or even suggesting how Spoon should run their show. I will try to stay away from that because I don't believe that it is my place. However, Senator Dillon, who is also our leader, every one of us, Leo correctly stated, he's a senator for Moserado County, which means if I go in Liberia right now, if anything was to happen, if I have contact with him, I will ask for his help because he's also senator of Moserado County, Republic of Liberia. So if Senator Dillon, he's no longer a clerk to another senator. He's now occupying that seat. He's now the main man in the room. So if you're going to come on this program, you heard what happened before, and you're coming with the intent of clarifying, with the intent of educating, because this is what he has done in fact, he has his own show where he called it Classroom. So you come in these kinds of a situation, I would believe that you come with that classroom teacher mentality where these people, you feel that they perhaps have missed the mark. You come and try to educate, as Leo correctly stated. You come and try to disabuse them of your own right as an individual, not as a senator.
The liberal has formally surrendered to our argument, to our point.
We have to go.
Finally, because
Mr. Soul,
Chairman Barron,
because you know very well, you or Leo or Professor Zaro or Mr. George, none of you can take me from a comfort of a liberal position to come to a conservative view. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But
no, we are just realists. We point it out as it is. So we do not.
You're not. You're trying to sanction people. You're trying to say people do not have the right to say whatever they want to say. And as a liberal progressive, I expect people to argue their point. However, they must be responsible.
Do you remember Radio Kigali?
It is my place to make you responsible.
They are
I'm
asking,
Rwanda.
asking you a question, Liberal.
Do you remember Rwanda Radio Kigali that led to almost 1 million
Oh,
people?
Leo, why would we reduce? Just one.
No, that person had the freedom to call people cockroaches.
Without a yes.
You are telling us for people to have freedom without responsibility, without them being held accountable of their comment. You want us how this is how you guys want to be given full stamps, and people are working, busting their asses off, and you want to just
folks, here comes
children
Shannon, here comes Donald Trump. I mean, one package here tonight. Now we're talking about food stamp. Oh my goodness, folks, I've been telling you guys that these people are the most conservative group within the Liberian community, but I am here to push back. Believe me, I will not let the conservative to try to take hold into our community. The liberal are in control in the United States. The liberal are in control in the Republic of Liberia. Forget about CDC because we got the light.
And he becomes selective. We must forget about CDC. We should forget about CDC. He has become selective. That's how the
specifically tiny sedition. Specifically tiny sedition. Let me put it that way. And undercover sedition as well.
The people will come for you to continue.
That may not go into time. Let you get there here.
Let me just say that. No, seriously. Look, as I was saying, Mr. So when people come on this platform, when you avail yourself to these kinds of public forum, you must always carry yourself.
But I think
the father of the group.
Overall,
and I really appreciate
it was a good, wonderful conversation, and we will keep this here. But I honestly believe, like what Leo said, Senator Dillon blew it off, and this is where maturity comes in as a politician. I mean, it's going to get ugly, believe me. The politics of 2029, it was just, I would see it as a test. They throw that sort of bait out there, and everybody's kind of like hair buzzing, getting chilled overnight and stuff like that. He will use that time today to get Keith and put him on the spot.
Open the classroom.
Yeah, and that's where the real classroom will factor in. But again, this is what we are saying. Our politicians, our leaders, they need another advisor. Why you think lawyers have lawyers? Why you think doctors have doctors? But when they reach a certain peak, the fee, it is all about it. Whatever they say, that's it. And that's why.
So who do you want a Liberty Party politician to get as an advisor? You or Mr. Johnson or Mr. George or Mr. Savlo? No, far from it.
They can't even do that because they are looking for people who is always
cannot afford. They cannot afford. You're too
CDC can't even keep them. UG Fargo and I were in article Waterloo refugee camp. He knows the name. Yeah, he didn't know there are a lot of them, but that's it because they want to have this power. And I think the responsibility of the media, we in the media, and this is where people have to decide where to go to process news. If you are just an ordinary talk show, you're not a journalist, you are not following the ethical rules, the principles and all of that, is different. If you are a Bill Cunningham type or the late Rush Limbaugh or Shaw Hannity or Glenn Beck, you have your own group that listen to you. You know exactly which language to speak because you want those people in your column. But when you want to present news as it is, getting the proportionate, giving everybody the fair share, verifying your news, your sources, at least 3 before bringing it into daylight, then of course you are doing the Liberian people best. Folks, I want to thank you so much for being
part of the show. Before you leave, let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. Where is Professor Zavlo and where is Mr. Amos George?
Zavlo just sent me a message. He's going to be here with you tomorrow. He's going to take care of you. He's been hearing everything. In the
I've been out here because the liberal is on point. And so what do? They send somebody from Canada to come and face the liberal. This is not. I feel bad for you guys. I feel bad for you guys' position because you can't make it with me.
We are peaceful neighbors to the north. You guys look to us sometimes when things are going crazy. Then you look to Canada to see the calm, cool, and collective the way we do here. We don't.
Liberty Party don't even have you in your membership book. I don't know why you're heading your hair.
I will post my ID, my Liberty Party ID, Liberty Party USA.
Maybe I would, because I have tried by all means to even to Darius Dillon, who I sat with a couple of years ago. Now they are all like whatever it. Probably
they don't know me. He doesn't know me. He will not recognize me as a partisan because I'm a Liberty Party USA.
I'm not talking about you. I will talk to Chairman Brown. Maybe I will bring Youngly Kanga Lawrence or Adelia, but these people needs to be asked questions, and that's the beginning of 2023. You're gonna get dirty. People are gonna go in the gutter. People are gonna come out. The strongest shall survive.
That's why we see the real leaders.
Yeah, that's the game of politics. If you are wearing Pampers, diaper, don't get in it. Can you imagine? Recently, I was listening to CNN. There are certain people in Florida up to this point in time, they still believe that Joe Biden is not the president, and that Donald Trump won the election. And it's been stolen from him. So you will always see this conspiracy, the innuendos, and that sort of disbelief of people in a different world will be there. Something to, we are not in total. This is the United States of America. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being here this evening. Pat George will handle you tomorrow. He's already sent me a message, so stay tight tomorrow. Leo, thank you so much for being here. This evening as usual, and have a pleasant evening. The Liberal Progressive, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, that's how we're going to leave it. I want to thank you so much, all our viewers and followers, our callers, those of you that tweet, whatever say on this network, via tweet or phone call, does not in any way represent the management and staff of the Liberia Public Radio, but we do facilitate these high-call conversations that are sometimes painful, unbearable, and hard to handle because of political beliefs. But we are here to discuss those issues. I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. Thank you. Tonight, by God's willing, same time, same station at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be right back here with the fresh editions of Freedom Watch, right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. Thank you so much for being part of this evening program. Have a pleasant evening and beautiful Sunday.
This is Lpr-Tv with Afonso Z and Soul, live from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. In today's discussion, we will highlight high-call issues from the motherland, Republic of Liberia, and issues affecting our community. Asking tough questions is vital to me to have my listeners and viewers informed with the sole purpose of demanding answers that are authentic and meant to be head-scratching situation. Oh yes, to add pageantry to the conversation, senior analysts and contributors of the Liberia Public Radio are here to dissect the conversation. From Baltimore, senior analyst Professor Asese Labozalo, CEO, Real Academy and Gideon's Polytechnic Academy in Liberia. Senior contributor Amos George is in Atlanta, Georgia, a critical thinker and critic of the GOL, and opposition Lpr-Tv foreign affairs analyst Leo Johnson's executive director, Empowerment Square, based in Canada, and president, Liberian Community in Canada. And on the radar is Lpr-Tv, liberal progressive, and host conversations with Sam Saint Blackpool Brown Toe in Studio B in Saxton, Sacramento, California, is also on the radar. And of course, the doyen, former state broadcaster at ELBC and ELWA, and former presidential aspirant, Republic of Liberia, James Gamian, is based in the Garden City of New Jersey, is here. I am your host and anchor, Afonso Z and Soul, of the New England Bureau Desk of the Liberia Public Radio. Come, let's join the talk.
Katwae! What does it mean to be a woman? A black woman, an African woman, a Liberian woman?
To be a Liberian woman is Jiglunu, which means remember. Remember that you are strong because of your experiences, and to always be true to who you are. Yakama Jiglunu, Banife, Medegaga, Yanyango Sui. Yawega, Cody Lai.
So I'm Alice Johnson Hina, and I'm gonna talk to you on failing and not giving up.
Moinjama, Joeyo, Moinjama, Ian Joeyo, Moinjama, Joeyo, Moinjama. Kake Liberia Musofindi, Wole Wudin, Ka Anna Talifo, Maliate. Being a Liberian woman means telling our story, our own story with no apologies and authentically.
She brave. Oh baby.
Farafi muso nkolo eminere. Labia muso nkolo eminere.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Love is all we need to make it see. This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. Open up your heart, let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together.
Have you heard the news? Well, worry no more. Curson's photo and video production has been providing elegant weddings, conventions, and birthday videographic for the Liberian communities since 2006, paying attention to detail and emotion throughout the day, and taking time in the editing process to create a unique video you will want to watch with family members, friends, and future generations, shooting quietly and professionally, and without distracting you or your guests is vital. For more information, please contact us at 484-786-3337. That's 484-786-3337, or we can also be reached at www.CursonPhotoVideoProduction.com. Please tell Curson Photo and Video Production that Asheville the Giant Golly sent.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff are standing by waiting for your phone call.
Welcome to Fiber King off of Woodland. Everyone that's looking for nice African for wedding, whatever fiber you need, you can just come over here. You have all this nice stuff. If you need ashebi, you guys can come over here for baby shower, for wedding. You guys are welcome. She had really nice stuff. You can see all over there, all those men over here. You don't have to go to the theater and then they're going to be telling you all kind of stories. You can just come here. They're already made. And for ladies, you can just look for whatever fiber you're looking for and match it for the men. And, your husband already have a shirt made. You can get stuff for your kids. You can get stuff for the whole family. We have African slippers and ashobi hair ties all over. We have different kinds of lists and everything. So you guys are welcome, okay? It's really nice. It's Fiber Queen on Woodland, $6.95 off of Woodland. 6625 Woodland Avenue, okay? So you guys are welcome, 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 welcome. You have nice stuff here for ladies, for men, for kids, and for everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Fabric Queen of Philadelphia. Fabric Queen of Philadelphia is 100% African-owned business. At Fabric Queen, we are specialized in high-quality wax product, Swiss lace, jewelry, and beauty products that will make you shine like the queen of fabrics. We are located at 6625 on Woodlands Avenue, 10 Philadelphia. Telephone number 215-800-0228. Tell the management of Fabrics Queens in Philadelphia is easy and salt of the Liberia Public Radio gives you this message. Tell all Akwaba.
Welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery, 6523 Woodland Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'm a customer of Uncle Musa. I came here to get some things from grocery. Their things are so nice. They never get expired. They are the best quality. They have the best price ever anyone can get. They have so many things like cream, like meat, a lot of kind of meat. We have so many kind, and it's the best grocery store I've ever seen here in Wood. They are located at the 65th and Woodland. If you want, I really appreciate you guys to come over to come and patronize with us because they sell the best quality.
Uncle Musa's Groceries.
Everybody, everything's going bad. The situation getting worse. Everybody in the country getting mad. Dishonesty, poverty on the rise. The leaders them making empty promises. Promises with no damn strategies. Yeah, they say better days, money in the pockets. Oh, I saw holidays only for the bosses. Yeah, there's a better days, money in your pockets. Holidays only for the bosses. Oh yo, hey, what about the children? What about the people? What about your families? What are gonna eat though? Yeah, so Sophie and we waiting you. They don't really care about you. They don't care, my people, it's true. They don't want to see you break through. The whole country's getting confused. Corruption, no question.